let's jump right into it, shall we? Kicking it off, last time you all managed to board a ship, managed to fight off some vampires, save a vampire lord, learn potentially a little bit about Chisume's origin, and were accosted soon after by sky pirates. Fighting them off, you subdued the would-be leader, as it were, and using a few spells, removed the mask to reveal Nia, Rakshana's mentor, as well as stripping her of her armaments and garments down to essentially just her padding, essentially, and tying her up. You sort of brought her off to the side as you sort of actually. As we get into what exactly do you do with the rest of the bodies as well as the two ships that are currently latched to this one?
Oh, we do need to loot the other ship. We never did that. We did the one
Yeah.
ship. But yeah, well, I think we should just take their crap and then
We can
I
keep
mean, I
both
guess it
ships.
depends on if they're dead.
Because one of them was on fire, wasn't it?
The fire doesn't last forever. It's only a minute.
Okay.
Well, it was Wall of Fire. Let me look up Wall of Fire real quick.
And it was only on the planks. It wasn't on
Planks are
the ship.
wooden though, and both
Correct.
be wooden.
Well.
Here,
Okay,
I'll link
so
Wall of Fire to
since
you. It's the same as the spell.
well, hold on. So since in 5e, I have seen spells such as Firebolt and I believe Fireball specify that unattended objects or objects not being worn or carried by a person do catch fire by those spells. Wall of Fire does not state anything of the sort. So no, it would not catch the other ship on fire.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah. So there you go. So what do you guys do?
Well, let's go check through the other ship real quick.
Same.
All right, so
Agreed.
go ahead and give me 2 investigation checks.
I got one.
Or Magnus can just do one with advantage, because I mean his investigation's big.
It's true. If you wanted to help him out. Oh, Quinn's taking the other one. All right.
Well, no,
So
somebody
Kurt and
else can
Magnus.
help Magnus.
Well,
since Magnus
it's specifically 2 rolls.
Oh.
So, all right, a 20 and a 22 though. So going over to the other ship and beginning to scour over it. The DM is going to remember that he forgot music.
Bongo, bongo, bongo.
Actually, I'm gonna save that one because that one's like super epic boss music, and y'all aren't in boss. Hello, Star.
Oh yeah, I forgot to put my EXP on because I've been working all day.
Oh, your sheet should definitely be higher than that. You were 18 last week.
18 last week, 17 the week before that, so it's been about 3 or 4 weeks since you've leveled up.
Oof. Yeah, go ahead and just take some time to level up, Star. You're fine. You're good. And if you need help, just message one of us, and one of us can help, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So, alright. So as you go and begin to sort of rummage through the ship, I need to Alright. So I need one of you to go ahead and roll me a d10. Either Corinne or Roxana.
Go ahead, Roxana.
Alrighty.
5. All right.
That's a nice, good average roll.
I mean, considering it's a D10. All right. So what you find in there is you find what looks to be a vial that has like this like crackling mote of lightning inside of it. On top of that, you find what looks like a jar of teeth.
Yeah, ew. Why?
You find a small pouch of multicolored chalk. You find directly next to that a small stone of multicolored stones, or small pouch of multicolored stones. Colors resembling, if not identically matching those of the chalk. You find a bit of tangled twine with that as well. Also, in searching this, you find what looks like 3 crates of rations. You're not entirely sure how many rations there are, per se, but each crate looks to be about anywhere between 50 to 100 pounds, roughly. So pretty large crates overall. Additionally, you find what appears to be a small document of some kind. You find a small pouch of dried berries. You find what looks to be some sort of like almost crystallized flame. You find a tattered map of some kind. And you find 3 rusted nails. And amongst all of that, you find exactly 34,333 gil.
Jesus H. Christ!
Holy moly.
We're
That's
loaded!
Oh yeah.
Between the other ship and this
Sky
one now.
Pirates.
True.
So the last one we had 20 chests of 20,000 gil each.
Yeah, this gil is split between 2 chests, which are roughly half the size of the other ones. But still pretty hefty.
So, bait.
Hi.
Did the thing that we spoke that you informed me of happen, or is there a
Question mark?
the change? You should know which one I'm talking about, and you never answered me about items specifically.
Oh. I never got a chance to look those over, actually. I was meaning to, and I even, I'm sure I probably put a note somewhere to actually look them over.
Well, at this point, I'm only asking about the change to the character specifically and the armor. The other things aren't necessary to be approved for this session at this point. Those are just things you can look at later. And
I'll say for now, sure, and we'll give them I'll give them a thorough look through after session.
all right.
So we'll say for now, sure. You may continue.
I will hand Star the shiny rocks and the chalk, along with the twine. I'm not exactly sure what these might be, but
I'll figure that out. And she'll happily accept them.
Chalk, only chalk. The little baby could use it to draw on the ship deck.
I mean,
I'm just saying.
this is assuming it's not like some sort of ritual chalk.
Right. She's the one with detect magic, so she
Yeah.
can tell you what it is.
I will start moving the chests of gold to wherever the other chests are, if we still have that portal open to Joyful Gingers.
Well, the portal can be open pretty much at any point in time, so...
Okay, well then I'll call over to whoever has the scroll. I need the portal over here!
The only stipulation to it is that it takes a minute to activate. Or
Yeah,
to
it's fine.
cast,
We're not
so-
exactly...
So,
We're not in combat.
Yeah, we're not exactly pressed for time. It's not like the other ships are dragging ours down.
The
Or...
dragon is approaching in distance.
technically, you've stopped moving at this point.
Yes.
Okay, we're still not in
So-
any pressing need to
Yeah,
move at the
Because
moment.
of their weight, both engines on those other ships will have to be activated if we're going to take them with us. But since they're linked, they can be stared just off the big ship.
Or, you could just detach it and watch them go wee and fall.
They're worth money.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think we want to take them and...
Up to you.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Why-
so what are the? I mean, what are the crew? Are they are they alive?
Do you
Oh,
want
we
to
killed
check-
their crew.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we didn't specify that we were non-lethaling the crew.
Yeah, also,
Plus, I kinda
all
limit
of the
broke them.
all of the bandits were killed by your limit break, except for the boss.
Yeah.
And as you
True.
never at the time specified that you were not trying to completely obliterate them, 200 damage is
We
more than
obliterated them.
twice their maximum HP, and a lot of them were under their max HP.
I
So-
mean, at that point, if it's that much over, I would say that's not even possible to not
no, massive damage alone in that instance would instantly kill them. But being that it
Yeah.
would have been a limit break, if such a thing had been specified, then there would have been things that could have been potentially done.
Oh.
But that was not
Good to
specified.
know.
So,
Yeah, I've been watching all the blood off your hands,
Yeah.
Aiden.
Whoops.
so yeah,
Says
you look
you.
them over, and even a preliminary look.
Encouraging her.
Yeah, even a preliminary sort of look over their bodies, and they are all scorched. They're all dead.
They're dead. They're dead. They're dead. They're dead.
Ding dong, the witch is dead.
Ding dong, the sky pirates. are
No,
dead.
it's copyrighted. Shush.
That's why I said the sky pirates.
Fine, fair.
So, anything else?
I'm gonna identify these objects.
The stones and chalk? Yeah. Okay. You take a moment to cast Identify, and they are
Excuse me.
just a bunch of multicolored chalk and stones.
Interesting.
Nothing magical about them.
I'm gonna just put them in a bag.
Okay.
We need to figure out how much gold we have now in total.
A lot.
Gee, thanks. I meant exact total.
The scientific analysis would say, a lot.
An ass bag. A fuck ton.
I was about to say, I think the actual technical term would be a fuck ton. Alright, so, pulling all of those over onto the main ship, Drahomir, who's just been sort of up towards the helm of the ship and kind of monitoring this, looks down at you and says, "So, what you doing with the scuttles? If that's where they are. Don't exactly look like your crew can pilot. Maybe, and he points over to Kryn. Maybe that one, but
We'll
We
get
can
them
pilot
started
just
up.
fine, thank you.
We could probably just keep them attached, power up the engine so they don't cause drag on this ship, and you can steer from this ship, and we'll take them to the next port and sell them.
You're like super distant, Kryn.
Yeah.
I am so sorry, my mic was over my head.
Much better. Haha. I did hear you though.
Okay.
And just kind of chuckles and goes,
We can just keep the ships connected. We'll power up the engines and get them going so there's no drag on your ship. And then your ship can just steer them while they're connected, and we'll sell them at the next port.
well, you see, being that you want to go to Mordona, the nearest port, I guess you could say, is quite a distance away. Now, we can go and take a detour, but that's going to cost extra since that wasn't the original.
Extra, we have protected your ship just fine.
And the original agreement was to take you to Mordona.
Your original agreement was to pay us to take us to Mordona. Not for
That
us to pay you.
was definitely not the agreement.
We were acting as your security, which means we were going to be
Yes,
paid.
and your payment was a trip to Mordona.
That's
How
what
about-
he just said.
That means there's no change.
But if you're wanting to go to a port, then Mordona.
No, we're still
is-
going to Mordona. If that's the next nearest port without changing course, we're fine
That's
with
what
that.
I'm saying. There is no port in Mordona.
I see.
So if you
Oh.
want to go to a port, we're gonna have to change course.
Then how are you going to drop us off at Mordona?
I was gonna hover above and drop a ladder and let
Oh,
you
like
climb
a
down.
jerk. Come
Well,
on,
we're
I was
gonna-
trying to give you like some positive shit so everyone would stop pulling your leg so damn
I
hard.
wasn't gonna
And
make
now
it
you're
like
telling us you were gonna tell us to jump off the edge of your ship.
I did not say that. And I also
What are
didn't
we
say
going to
that
do
I
with
was
our
gonna-
chocobo and our carriage that are stored below? How are you going to get them on the ground?
the Mughals. And your trip down wouldn't be that far on the ladder. It'd be maybe 10 or 15 feet.
I figured as much.
And we need to recalculate, because how are we supposed to get from Mordona to the next stop that we were
So
going
you
to
were
do?
gonna rip us off.
Because we were going to Mordona to catch another ship to go to...
I was trying really hard.
Well, we're going to
Here.
Mordona for other business.
Oh. I thought we were going there to catch a connection over to... so we can order our ship.
We have a thing. We have something to do there.
Oh, okay. Alright.
Well, I wonder if we can tie the ships up and we can just go from here.
How much are you willing to pay for those two ships that we took?
If you want the ships, you can take them. I don't care.
I was just asking if you wanted them.
No,
You
I
can be
don't
an
need them.
admiral of your own freaking fleet.
No, I don't need them. Got too many Mughals to handle on my own just carrying this one ship.
Mm.
And getting another ship just means I have to deal with more of them. And they're great for running the ship and all, but they're not all that great company.
Mm.
Rude.
And
I
a
think they're
Moogle looks-
wonderful.
And a Moogle looks in his general direction and sticks its tongue out.
Maybe.
I'll look around for a Moogle who overheard him.
There are no Mughals on the top deck. In fact,
Oh, shit, there are.
you've never actually seen any above deck.
Yeah, we have. when he came out from below deck to talk to Captain.
Oh, well, okay. The one time, yes. That was a specific purpose, though. Shush. Other than that one time, that was a specific condition that caused him to come out.
Still caused him to come up.
Shut up.
No.
But anything else?
Well, okay, is there some way we can just rope the ships together? Rope just the two ships together, and we can just take them to a port and then go from there. Maybe we can maybe we can put the cart on one of them.
Yeah, we could do that if you want it. Once we get to Mordana, I'll have some of the Mughals tie them down for you. How about that?
Well, that would work. Though I wonder if. Well, we'll figure it out. We can figure it out when we land.
So then you still want to go to Mordana?
I mean, that was the plan.
I just want to make sure. You'll fire up the other engines on those ships and we'll get going.
I'll head over and I'll fire up the one on the bottom first.
Dar will stare him down. I tried really hard.
And when I'm done with
If they
that
keep
one,
picking on you, it's your own fault.
I'll do the one on the top.
Alright. So for a brief moment, the entire ship begins to spin in one direction.
I can only turn on one at a time.
And then, after about 30 seconds of it just drifting to one side, the other engine kicks on and begins to straighten out once more. Before the engines for the main ship kick on and you begin forward once more. Drahomir standing at the helm to guide the ship. Is there anything anyone else wishes to do during the trip?
I would like
I
to
mean-
finish my cane.
Alrighty. Go ahead and give me a Tinkerstell check for that.
I always roll low on those. I mean, I got a plus 11.
Well, thankfully, a 14 at your skill level, because having a plus 11, I feel like should do more than just give you a bonus, considering things such as simple tools at a Grandmaster's level are exceedingly simple to make at that point. With your skill level and knowledge, I'll say it doesn't take you too much longer to finish your cane. It takes maybe, I'll say, about 2.5 more hours, and you'll have your cane finished.
Then after that, I'll just do a long rest.
Alrighty.
I'm gonna do a long rest as well.
I'm just going to be just checking on the ships occasionally, making sure they're not starting to shear off the ship for some reason, and then take a long rest. Just checking on them occasionally.
Okay. I'll say go ahead and give me a either investigation or perception, your choice. Alright. So, yeah, just kind of keep an eye on them every now and then. They don't appear to be shearing off. They actually... Surprisingly, these nails or whatever they're using to grip these two ships together is extremely sturdy. So, no sign of shearing. Alright.
Nice. This is just for one night, because sometime during the trip, I would like to speak with Nia once she wakes on her own.
Okay. Easy enough to actually do. Is there anything anyone else wishes to do in the meantime?
Can't think of anything.
Okay. So,
Oh.
taking your long rests, each of you finding maybe some strange comfort in the night. However, Rakshana, in the middle of the
Yes.
night, I'll say real quick, what's your... No, I won't even say that. Go ahead and roll a perception check with disadvantage.
I was gonna say, because my passive perception is 21.
Right. But when you have disadvantage, it's a
Yeah.
-5, so...
Oh.
To the passive perception. But advantage gives you +5, so... Ooh. Alright. So... One second.
Nolan.
Okay. So... As you lay in your bed, sleeping, dreams sort of coming and going, you're awoken to a hand covering your mouth and another one quickly reaching to try and like grab and restrain your arm. What do you do?
I will resist.
All right,
Of
go
course.
ahead and make an athletics check for me, or acrobatics, up to you.
Well, with the stat change that we discussed, athletics
Mhm.
better.
All right.
18.
So that way I can do the rolls. All right. So as you go to pull, you find your arm pushed down, and thankfully the airship being so high makes light very plentiful here, being so far above the clouds. And after a moment of sort of grogginess as you're pulling and resisting, you do see that it is Nia. And she just looks down and she goes, "Shh."
I mean, she's currently covering my mouth from what you've said. So,
You're also still resisting.
I mean, if she's not actively being hostile at the moment, I'll pause on that.
All right. You sort of begin to relax. She pulls her hands away and sort of pulls herself away from the bed for a moment and goes, "I'm sorry. Where are we?"
We are on an airship owned by the Captain Drahomir, and we were contracted as a security detail for him apparently hunting sky pirates, but also transporting someone for an Asian.
Oh, I'm not even going to pretend to know what that is.
An Asian?
How did we get here? How did I get here?
You got here by attacking our ship, the one that we're currently on, with a band of what we can only assume is sky pirates. Now, that being said, you were being controlled by a strange mask. You were not of your right mind.
Sort of
And
raises one hand to sort of begin rubbing her face.
I'll hold up the large piece that I saved. I don't know if the magic is gone from it, but I'm going to find out who made it and why, and then I'm going to give them a piece of my mind.
Oh. The last thing I remember. Oh. There was an explosion in the desert. I rushed over to investigate because I was worried, and I don't remember.
In the desert, do you mean in Thanalan? What
I think
what exploded?
so.
Do you know?
I don't remember. It's very hazy. I don't even know how long ago it was.
It's been at least a few months. If you remember me calling you and asking if you were anywhere near Gradania, then it's been at least that long.
Mm.
Or it could be up to that long, I should say. Not the reverse.
Where's my gunblade?
I currently have it. Why?
Sort of holds her hand up. May I have it back, please?
Yes. She'll pull the gunblade out and hold the handle out to her.
She goes
I
to
don't know.
grab it. Oh, go ahead.
I don't know if this is some sort of special gunblade, but using it, you hit harder than I remember. Got a couple of good ones from you when we fought.
Her tilts her head as she looks at it. So reaches out for a moment, but then stops and hesitates and goes, "That's not my gunblade.
It's not?
No. At least it's not the one that I had the last... It's not the last one I remember having.
This is the one you showed up with.
I don't ever remember having that kind of gunblade."
So Rox will set this gunblade down and pull out Windweaver. I remember when you gave me this blade.
Looks back at it and nods. I do as well.
Perhaps it's time that you take it back, being that you seem to be without a weapon, and it seems like you have no interest in that one.
Sort of looks at it and then looks at the other one. You may be right.
You are welcome to the other one if you would like it. I'm not going to...
No, there's something about it that I don't like. I don't know.
I see.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like maybe I'm not supposed to have it. But, maybe I'm overthinking it all. That's probably it. Short rubs her head again and reaches out for Windweaver. She
I
says,
will detach Windweaver and again hold the handle towards her so that, proper
Yeah.
knife handling etiquette,
Yeah.
such.
She takes it. Kind of gives it a look over. You're taking care of it.
Of course. It served me well.
I'm glad. Well, whatever this other gunblade is, hopefully it serves you just as well.
I'm sure it will, and thank you. I know you don't remember getting it, and I know you don't remember why you have it, but perhaps I can use it to track down the bastard that did that to you in the first place. It'll be an irony when he finds himself at the end of his own weapon. Or her. I don't care. I don't judge.
She just chuckles and goes, well, I need to find a way to figure out what's been happening.
We will be landing in Mordona soon. If you would like to take leave of us, I'm sure no one will stop you. However, I wouldn't mind if you stayed a while, and I would quite like if you stayed a while and perhaps got to know the people I've been traveling with.
Well, admittedly, my last failure did happen likely as a result of being alone. Might be nice to have some company for a little while.
Besides, worst case scenario, we come across the person that did that to you while you're here, and, well, you can give them a piece of your mind for yourself.
That's true.
Other than the past bit of time that you don't remember, how has business been? How have you been doing?
Well, from what I can remember, things were going well enough, anyways. I was able to make my living and help those that need it. I don't really remember much about it. Just kind of stares down at the floor. Just kind of, her eyes almost kind of glazed over. She just goes, huh. Actually, there's a lot I don't remember.
We will find answers together. I
I'm
have
sure we
no
will.
problem with assisting you however I can.
Well, how about I let you get back to sleep? And in the morning, we can talk about this more.
Of course.
I'm sorry for
Admittedly,
waking
you're
you.
one of the... It is okay. Admittedly, you're one of the only two people on the ship that I'd be okay with waking me in the middle of the night.
Well, I'll see you in the morning.
You as well. Sleep well.
She leaves.
People.
So,
That makes
as the next
Welcome
morning...
back.
Thank you.
Your mic is kind of woo.
Is it good?
Yeah,
Oh,
there you are.
Okay,
Oh,
fantastic.
Bait, I will also need the stats on that then.
So, as all of you eventually come to consciousness the next day, you have a few days left before the end. However, Drahomir reminds you that there, at some point before you get to Mordona, the vampire lord had requested to be dropped off.
Yes.
So when do you all wish to do that?
I mean, where's a good place to drop him off?
Somewhere not full of people, likely. Oh, I also wanted to try and knock on his last chain.
The one that's embedded in his neck.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second.
Excuse me.
Alright. So. Nope. Alright. So going downstairs to cast knock on the chain itself. Can you post knock for me real quick?
Yep, just let me calculate my health rolls here.
And do remember, if you rolled below half, which for you would be 5, you take average. So you take 5 and then add your constitution modifier.
Yeah, I didn't, so this is good.
Yeah. Well, the 6 is rolled under and the 7 rolled under, so
Oh, okay.
that's an extra 3 health on top of what you rolled. So 26 in total is what you gained.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah. Alright. So you press
I'll
the
get
knock
that
spell.
pinged in a quick second.
Yeah. I just have to see how exactly it's worded.
Sorry, I just wanted to get my health in.
You're fine.
There we go. Oop, I didn't mean to roll that to
Alright.
you.
It's
But there
okay.
you go.
Object can be a door, box, chest, a set of manacles, a padlock, or another object that contains a mundane or magical means that prevents access. Target that is held shut by mundane lock or that is stuck or barred becomes unlocked, unstuck, or unbarred. If the object has multiple locks, only one of them is unlocked. You choose a target that is held shut with arcane lock as well as... Okay. So as you go downstairs and cast the spell, you watch as from the 4 chains that are sort of hooked into or almost embedded into that single rich or holy symbol that is in his chest, you see one of the chains detach free and actually peel away from his skin before sort of falling and slamming against the ground relatively heavily.
I thought it was just one left.
No, there are or sorry, it's not one. It's technically 2 chains. I'm thinking of the wrong thing entirely. So there's it's like an amulet style thing around his neck that is well, it's one continuous chain, so no, it would only be one lock. Anyways, so yeah, no, actually, I was thinking the wrong thing. Anyways, Okay, yeah. Give me 1 sec.
All right.
Yeah. So thinking about this correctly. So actually, okay. Give me a wisdom check, please. With advantage, because I have it.
Okay. Yes. A wisdom check.
Yes.
Okay.
It's essentially a cast level, or a caster check. So. But wisdom is your casting modifier, so. But, sending out the spell, you... I'm trying to think of how to properly describe this. You watch as the holy symbol of Birgat that is sort of embedded in his chest. There's this like very high-pitched whining sound, like almost like a really big turbine engine starting up for the first time, or just now starting up. Where it's like it starts off as like this slow, low-pitched sort of whine that begins to get faster and more high-pitched before the silver chain itself is almost ejected off of his neck and goes flying back and actually embeds itself into the ship. The holy symbol itself very slowly almost peeling away from the chest before clattering and slamming against the ground.
There you go.
Oh. Sort of reaches up to very gingerly sort of press his hand where the skin used to be. You can actually see like just like muscle and like just the tendons that are underneath the skin. And as he just gingerly touches it, he just looks back at you and goes, "Why?"
Because it looked painful.
Despite knowing everything you do about me.
Mm-hmm.
Your kind continues to intrigue me, although maybe I shouldn't say your kind, should I?
Depends on what you mean by that.
Hmm. Mortals are very interesting, aren't they?
Yeah, I suppose.
You'll have a unique way of looking at things.
Yeah. And she'll just nod in agreement. Like, yeah. Mm.
Hmm. How long until I leave this ship?
We're hoping soon we're gonna find somewhere that's not too populated.
Good. With that gone, I should be relatively fine after a day or two.
Good.
Reaches out, gently pats your head.
Oh,
And
the
goes, yes.
weakness found.
Yes. And then he just smiles and says, when next we do meet, do be sure that she isn't around. Her thoughts are dangerous to my kind.
Which she? There's a few.
The only she that could possibly be around. You get the feeling he's talking about Chisume.
Yeah, I had a feeling, but it was like, that's really
Yeah.
fucking vague, though, bro.
You're pretty sure he's talking about Chisume.
Alright, then.
Anything else?
No, I think that's good.
Alright. Anything else anyone wishes to do?
I mean, Rox will go to the top deck and practice with the gunblade.
Okay. So, yeah. Taking an hour to attune to it, bringing it out. There is a familiar, or a sense of familiarity to it once you attune to it. Unlike Windweaver, this doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't feel like it has weight to it.
Interesting.
The way you can swing it, it's actually surprising how fast it can be swung. And just how precisely it can be swung if you're used to it. You do catch yourself a few times actually sort of almost stumbling forward a little bit and like being almost pulled forward by the momentum of the swings. Not really used to a weapon that has, or functionally anyways, has no weight. But other than that, it's a very, very, very good gunblade.
Nice.
So, a little while later, you manage to find a spot to touch down close enough that the vampire lord himself feels safe in descending. Interestingly enough, the way he ascends the stairs is by simply turning into mist, rather than trying to fit through them, because he is simply too large to do so. However, as he gets to the top, thankfully waiting until sunset to do so, or until nighttime rather to do so, it simply gives you all a once more quick glance, and as he does, you can see a lot of the scars and wounds that he had at one point have begun to heal over. His skin no longer looking anywhere near as pale, and neither is Star for that matter, because the exhaustion is wearing off. But as he looks back towards all of you, and I never uploaded his picture. Give me 1 second, please, as I find his picture to upload. That's not giving me the picture. Why aren't you giving me the picture? The picture. Here it is. I want to post it in Discord because that's way faster. I'm putting it in proper art channel. You watch as both clothing and wings begin once more reforming from his body. As he looks you all over once more, he just smiles and says, I do not know why you have all chosen to help me. Maybe some of you did not want to. But regardless, you did. And I will not forget this kindness. Believe you me, I do not forget my debts. And I owe you each a life debt. As he turns around, his wings once more finally come up, wrap around him, and he vanishes.
Wow.
Drahomir from the top deck just looks over and goes, does that life debt extend to me too, you think?
Probably not.
No, probably not.
Yeah, probably not.
I'm going to guess that since you were the one transporting him to probably what have been a very painful end, no.
Yeah, he's probably coming back for me, isn't he?
I don't know.
Yeah. After we're off the ship, obviously.
Yeah, looks like I'm gonna have to start wearing some garlic and silver around my neck too.
Star's just gonna shake her head.
Do those even actually work? Or is that
No,
I
they're-
have
just a
no
wag
idea.
scale?
Silver's for werewolves.
But those chains,
The chains were
Well,
made of silver.
Yeah, but they could have
Silver
just been silver for magic enhancement.
they were hurting him.
Silver is a general anti-monster thing. Werewolves particularly don't like it, but it works for most monsters.
Well, the
Unless
chains are
they're-
still downstairs if you want to try and go and identify them. If they're magical,
Maybe we
and
could.
they're probably
We
still
might
magical.
keep them. Who knows? Maybe they'll hold primal.
That's wishful thinking there.
I didn't say it wasn't wishful thinking. I just think Clover could.
I mean, why would we need to contain a primal?
I
You've
mean,
been a part of our lives
that
for the
Edwin?
past 6 months.
Yes, but the solution has usually been remove them from the equation, if you will. Cross them off, if you will.
I like her thinking.
But what if we need it for something?
Then we're stooping to the level of our enemies, and I'll kill you myself.
Generally speaking, primal equals bad. So, generally, disregarding what my wife was doing the other night.
Yeah, you guys are being pretty fast and loose with me too.
I don't
I'm
see
sorry?
you as a primal.
Anyway.
Jaromir kind of tilts his head and goes, I'm sorry?
None of your
Let's not talk
concern.
about this here.
Above your pay grade.
He just narrows his
Oh,
eyes.
first reaction.
Right.
It's none of your concern.
Right, the poison. Cusco's poison. Sorry.
It's none of your concern. We'll be off your ship soon.
Right, ignorance
And
is
then you-
bliss and all that, right? We'll just continue on.
You're the one who was
Well,
transporting a vampire without knowing it.
He just gets back behind the wheel and once more begins to take
Yeah,
off.
you better fucking hide.
Jesus Christ.
Come at me, boy. Sorry, out of character. I'm just.
I just imagine stars like both arms crossed over, like the early 2000s sort of like edgy lord, just like, come
I'm
at me,
thinking
boys.
like arms up, like shoulders up, arms up, like bent and hanging gremlin pose. Like that's what I'm imagining. Come at me, bitch. I got God and the stars on my side.
Which god?
Quit
Yes.
calling me your god!
No,
I'm
because
just as
it's
gremlin
not.
as you are.
Yeah, I'm just as gremlin as you are.
Great.
I love this D&D group.
Me too.
Great.
We are pretty good, aren't we?
Oh, that's great. So, spending about another 2.5-ish days in flight, I believe. I forget exactly how long. You eventually come to arrive just on the outskirts of Mordona. As the ship sort of floats down to drop the rope maybe about 15 or 20 feet off of the ground. The back of the ship already open and the Mughals unloading the chocobos. Dromir just kind of looks down at all of you and goes, "So, I hope I never see any of y'all again."
Love you too, Drahomir.
Yeah, love you.
Likewise, and Dogger just jumps off the edge of the ship.
Oh, here.
So-
And she'll hand over the like extra teacup for his girlfriend. You treat her right.
Always have.
I mean her and the teacup. She'll pat his hand.
Right.
Is Star tall enough to pat his head?
He's not super
and.
tall. He's
Oh.
also like hunched over, because he's a
That's
cat
he's-
person.
Also,
Yeah.
there's a teacup still here for every Moogle.
Uh-huh.
So I expect them to have tea. Understand? We'll also leave all the tea with you.
Right.
Most of the tea.
Alrighty. So, as each of you disembark the ship and make your way into Mordona. Let me skip. Okay, whatever. B loop current? Nope. B loop current. Nope. Okay.
For some reason, I thought this was the
Sure,
hymn of the
whatever.
Fae.
No.
I
Mordona.
heard,
So, as you arrive in Mordona, begin to walk in Mordona, Final Fantasy XIV. I don't have a map for Mordona. I didn't like go into getting a screenshot or anything, so we're just gonna move you all to the world map for now. But as each of you enter in, the Aetheryte Crystal being the very first thing that all of you see as you enter in from the, if I'm remembering correctly, northeast. Yes, the northeast part of town. The Chocobo stables off directly next to the Aetheryte Crystal. You see a single large inn-type structure. Also directly to your left, the Chocobo stables being to your right. To the other side of the tavern, you see another path that branches to outside of Mordona once more, heading to the west towards what used to be a Garlean base, which has since been sort of taken back by the Resistance, as well as another path that heads sort of further up and into quote-unquote Mordona. Mordona itself is more of an outpost than a proper town. Looking about, there's largely just a bunch of stalls here. Amongst the stalls that are here, you can see a lot of silks, ores, ingots, minerals, various trade goods, and various materials for crafting. No, Khajiits are not in Final Fantasy XIV. But we do have Mikotes, which are very close.
There's also Hrothgar too.
That's true, Hrothgar. But yes,
Big buff
if you
kitty
all
boy.
come in, because I simply love watching and seeing who rolls a nat 1 to fail, I would like everyone to roll a wisdom check to attune to the Aetheryte. Because I love seeing who fails, even though it truthfully has no bearing.
I have Hattie. I don't have to roll anymore, right?
You can't fail.
Yeah.
The minimum DC is 5.
Rocks
So,
fail.
yeah. So Roxana, coming in, this isn't necessarily your first time being in Mordona. However, with Nia still accompanying all of you, it is your first time being here with her. And she will not shut up about all of the extremely boring things she's done here. And it's just so distracting.
Star finds her extremely annoying.
Here we go. She tries again. She gets it this time, damn it.
You tell Nia to maybe save the lectures for another time. And
Save the stories for the drunk people at the inn.
he managed to attune. It almost got to Aidwin and Crim, but they managed to focus and keep it going. So, is there anything any of you wish to do while in Mordona?
Well, we gotta go talk to the Scions.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we could do that. We could relax.
We could also relax a little bit because
We've been going non-fucking stop.
And then
Yeah.
right when we think we're gonna get a break on a nice little airship, we still
Nope.
have to deal with a
Nope.
vampire lord and a very untruthful fucking man to work for.
Nia
Do we
just
see
kind
any?
of turned her head to the side and looked away.
And that bitch.
Do we see any local eating establishments?
Make a perception check.
Eating establishments.
Restaurants, taverns.
Eating establishments.
It's
Make perception
the
check.
endgame crafting town.
Yeah. So
I'm sure that
anything-
there's some. I'm sure there's some schmuck who's sitting there waiting to.
They're gonna have like one of those barbecue restaurants where you have to cook your own fucking food too, because crafting.
Korean barbecue.
Quick time event. All right, break some rolls.
I mean, I do have this.
I also have. Oh, I was gonna ask you a question about feats and stuff. So, if I took chef, it gives you proficiency with cook's utensils, but I already have it. I won't be able to get expertise, right?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
no.
then next question is, could I take a feat that has a prerequisite of being a race that's not
What's the race?
literally in this? I was gonna take Flames of Phlegethos. It's a tiefling feat. I figure instead of Flames of Phlegethos,
given the plot and given the state of the game, yes, you can take that.
yeah, because I figured instead of Flames of Phlegethos, it'd just be Flames of Ifrit.
Yeah, effectively.
I took this. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool.
All right. So, are you looking for pre-made food, or do you want to make food?
A restaurant.
A restaurant. Okay.
Somebody who cooks for us.
Would be nice.
So, you find the local Subway. No.
I'm sorry,
looking
you mean
for-
Subway?
Yeah, sorry. The local Subway.
So, I'm looking for Ye Old Emerald's, like, 5-star cuisine.
I see. Okay, so let me real quick. D&D. Yeah, give me some names. Here's some names. Nope, that's not. Yeah, so you find it is a small establishment, but you find what is called Ingol and Thakad's ritualistic cuisine.
That's not sketchy.
I was just thinking the same thing.
Everyone did. I just said it out loud. Let's go.
Yeah.
My roommate was like, just so you know, that sounds sketchy as fuck. I'm like, that's what all my players said too.
So what do? We go there.
Yeah, obviously.
I mean,
Alright.
Rox isn't too worried. She's got a new weapon in her arm.
So, entering in, it is exactly what you would not expect from such a sketchy name. Very well groomed waiters, about 20 in total, sort of meandering about and attending to different customers, which quite a number of customers, and a surprisingly, almost impossibly so, sizable room inside as well. Looking about, the smell is amazing, first off. And for you, Adwin, it's even better. Like, twice the amount better. Smells like heaven in here. From different kinds of meats, to cheeses, to what some might call rabbit food. Just looking at some of the plates that some of the individuals have, they have a plethora of food. Yes, I will say that. And after taking a few moments to sort of look around, you see that this is apparently an all-you-can-eat buffet, as there are several long, like, sort of rows where there's just food kind of sitting out with plates and silverware sort of stacked next to them. And a few moments after you enter, you see a single Elvon gentleman walk up to you, dressed in the typical waiter attire, one towel sort of draped over an arm as the other one is neatly tucked behind his back, and he just looks at all of you and says, "Welcome. May I help you? Table for..."
All of us.
"Ah, I see. Follow me, please." He turns and leads you all over to your own private table. About...
Sarah's gonna take Jasumi's hand and, like, kneel down to her. There's so much new food that you're gonna get to try today.
There's a lot of smells in here.
Mm-hmm. And you can pick the best smells to try.
Oh,
Mhm.
really? Yeah. Her eyes are like wide with excitement.
Star will pick her up and explain a buffet as they make their way to the table.
Alright. So you're all led to your table. He sets down a small little, you know, like those, rounded V-shaped, like, little number platelets that some of the restaurants have?
Yeah.
He sets, like, what looks like one of those down, but there's just like a screen on one side. And for in-lore purposes, because all of you would know, this is effectively a counter. Every time you bring food to the table, it automatically adds it all up and totals out your total when you are ready to leave. So you can simply enjoy your meal and worry about the cost once you are nice and fat. I mean full.
Break it so it doesn't go up.
It's spell magic.
Dogger just starts pulling out a staff.
No, we're not going to be those people on our first time in Mordona, everyone.
Ugh.
Fine.
But they do this on purpose to make you shell out a bunch of money.
Rox looks to Star. This is what we. This is why we have what's called self-control.
I
Don't eat
have
too
that.
much. Well, then it's a good time to learn now, isn't it?
Dogger's just off the side holding a tray of the desserts.
Just pout. Big pout.
Edwin's already Edwin's looking through the menu, just like, yeah, I literally can't do that.
Crin's already up and has got 2 plates full on one arm while stacking up another plate.
We have a few people who eat a lot, if you don't remember. Oh god.
I'm sure this will only take one of those chests of gold.
Oh, shouldn't be that much.
That's the joke.
I'm hoping it's not that much.
Well, I guess let's get food.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there is a plethora of food. This is, as I said, an all-you-can-eat buffet. It has basically everything you could imagine. From different kinds of like vegetables, fruits, tomatoes. I don't know why I want to say tomatoes. I just really did. Meats, breads, all you name it, it has it. Different types of ice creams. So basically, all of you can get your just desserts, as it were.
Star will first accommodate Chisumi around to figure out what she would like to try first.
Chisume. I'm gonna make a roll for Chisume. And we'll see. I see. She leads you around for a while.
Oh, no.
Very indecisive, and it's just like, maybe some of this, oh wait, but no, some of this, oh wait, but what about some of this? And it's just like, not actually grabbing anything, but just like kind of wandering around, just looking at everything, is very clearly overwhelmed by just how much is here.
Hun, we could put a little bit of each on a plate for you to try and come back for more if you like it.
We can come back?
Yeah.
Oh. She just begins like taking a little bit from like everything as you go down the aisle. And like eventually you guys come back and Chisume has brought back like 4 plates worth of food, and it's just has like not even really a whole lot, but like maybe a bite full of just like basically almost everything she can find.
She wanted to try a little of everything. You can't say no to someone who hasn't tried anything, really.
You don't all have to speak at once, it's okay.
I mean, it is a buffet. I don't see why not.
I want to be in the spirit to stop. I want to be in the spirit not to.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
So.
fuck, man, it's killing me.
All of you have your foods. The buffet is delicious and amazing food. Chisume has about 2 plates that remain untouched by the end of it. But she is like leaning over on Star and like one hand over her stomach, and it's just like almost on the verge of passing out. Um, the counter for your total is only at 1,346 gil.
Not bad.
Nah, it wasn't as bad as I expected.
1,336 is what you
Yep.
said?
One GP shy of being elite.
That was just what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
I got it.
Unfortunate.
We're just leeb.
All right.
Alright. Around this time, as you're all finishing up your foods and enjoying just having a moment to yourselves and having some downtime, you're approached from behind. Well, not really behind, technically speaking, because Star can see in all directions. You see what looks like a short, white-haired female Makote dressed in what looks to be these like black robes with this like white fur collar almost. This very strangely carved gnarled staff with a single large orb. And as she approaches, she just smiles at all of you and goes, "Ah, I assume you're all the ones that the Warrior of Light spoke about then, yes?"
Edwin's probably like hanging food out of her mouth, and she's like, "Huh?"
There'll be a slow turnaround and starts chair.
And she just kind of like coughs and tries
Warrior
to straighten
of
herself
who?
out.
Light.
Fumiri.
I've never heard of them.
Yeah, you have.
Yes, we are the individuals she spoke of.
Hi.
Fantastic.
And may I ask your name, miss?
I am Ishtola Rule. Silently.
Mom.
I know,
yes.
I'm not doing her
Mommy.
voice. Shut up. I'm not even attempting a female voice. Shut up. You know how
Star
deep
is
my voice
doing
is?
her very best to stay calm, but her ears are like.
He just smiles at all of you and says, "Please come with me. We have much and more to discuss, if I remember correctly."
Indeed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on, Chizumi.
She just kind of looks up and goes, "Huh? Oh,
Up, up. I can carry you. Come on.
oh." She reaches up and wraps her arms around you.
She'll happily pick her up.
You lift her up and I'll follow her out. She leads you back to that one tavern-like structure and looks over to the man behind the sort of counter and she kind of nods to him as he kind of looks to all of you with slightly narrowed eyes but doesn't seem to say anything. Ystola leads you down through a back door and down a rather lengthy flight of stairs into a rather spacious-looking area with several tables and chairs. You do see one counter with two individuals behind it, and standing sort of nearest the counter, you see a short Lalafell, you see Fumiri, as well as a short male Ellison wearing this like blue and white garb. As Ishtola walks forward, she kind of nods to them, and Fumiri looks up towards all of you and smiles and says, "There you are. Thankfully, we were able to find you. I trust that your wait wasn't too long." No?
Oh no, no.
No, we went and grabbed something to eat, and that's where your friend found us.
Honestly, I'll be for more time to relax.
Well, I'm sure you'll have plenty of time to relax after this. I believe you had something you wish to speak about, though, yes?
Yeah.
Lita Star's kind of in shell shock. She's very excited to be here.
What were we gonna talk to them about?
Removing the tempering.
Right. Wait. Was that what we were gonna talk to them about?
I thought so.
A way to remove the tempering, find out a way to remove the tempering, and protect those from being tempered.
I know Star had something she wanted to ask Y'shtola specifically.
Well, I know the one thing we were gonna ask them about was proportional. God, what the fuck did we come here for? Fuck.
It did have something to do with counteracting tempering, I'm pretty sure.
Because you guys wanted to, you were really wanting to do the tower, like help with the towers and whatnot, and you were trying to find a way to deal with that, but also you were trying to find ways to deal with, or to sort of almost counteract the effects that Aidwin was producing.
But I feel
to
like we
sort
have
of try and stop it.
them in on. There's another Asian we're dealing with.
The ASEAN. I mean, I think that's the biggest one.
Well,
Well,
what y'all reveal is up to y'all, so.
Well, first of all, it's an honor to meet all of you.
Well, hang on. Sorry about that. Fumi says, sorry, Y'shtola says, well, from what we have been told, you have all done a surprising number of feats yourself. Not the least which is standing toe-to-toe with several ASEAN encounters, from what we're told.
Indeed, we have.
You just are lucky keep stalking us.
Yes, they seem to like to toy with us. It's getting quite bothersome.
That is a common trait that they do share. Although, not always intentionally. Not wholly intentionally, anyways.
I was about to say, do Asians ever do anything they don't intend to do?
That's a question we've pondered for some time, although the answer seems obvious. But I must admit, there are some peculiar sides of the story, from what we're told.
Oh?
Yeah, such as your involvement with Garlemald and La Habrea. It's very... We do know of some tricks the Guardians are able to pull, but As of yet, we've been unable to discern how exactly they're able to bring back a dead Ascian. It's
Your guess is as good as ours at this point.
very strange. But is there anything else you wish to ask us?
Well, there was a matter of. They said somebody was mentioning that you were all able to do something about tempering.
Ah, yes. The male Elizin speaks up and he says, that would be my sister that is able to do that, actually. It is not a perfect science yet, but we are able to reverse the effects of tempering in some cases.
Oh, that's amazing.
It is. It's something we've been working towards for a very long time.
Do you know any ways to help the protectors protect people from it?
Not protect them per se. So far, the only ones that we've been able to see that are able to stand against a primal are, he sort of gestures to Fumi, and he says, other than her and those that have the blessing, we've not really found any way to stop someone from being tempered, other than just to avoid it altogether.
Well, at least that's one out of two.
Yes, and that's troubling.
Short Lalithal sort of steps forward and says, no, what's troubling is the fact that none of you have introduced yourselves to us. That is what's troubling.
You're very right, actually. That is very rude of us. My apologies. I'm Star. Well, Astaria Slightspark. My friends call me Star, and this is Chizumi. She'll just kind of bounce Chizumi a little.
So they just kind of like very, very sleepily waves before just resting her head back against you.
She's a little tired. She ate a lot.
Edwin and Brian.
Duggar gone bald.
I simply go by Rakshana. And the quiet one is Kryn.
Ah, I see.
Getting there. I was munching M&Ms and didn't want to chew in the mic.
That is fair.
Fair.
I mean, I didn't know that, so I had to say something.
No.
Everyone just turns to Crane. Crane look around like. I
Mouthful
just
of
imagine.
something.
Yeah, I just imagine Crane has like a mouthful, and it's like, what? Oh. She just nods and goes, ah, finally, some manners. I am Tataru.
A pleasure to meet you.
In this, I can introduce myself. Thank you. I am Alphino Levier.
Nice to meet the both of you.
Now, on to more. Looks over at Tataru. On to other matters.
Alpino is uncomfortable with this conversation. He's like,
matters are not important.
business. We're talking business.
Goddamn business, woman.
Tataru just kind of gives him a slight scowl for stepping back around and actually going behind the counter. He goes, right. As for tempering, it is a subject that is sorely understood, unfortunately. But recent talks show some hopes, if they remain small. We are in. We have plans in the works for doing more for those that are tempered, as well as for the war against Garlemald. He sort of looks over to Fumi for a moment, and she kind of goes, right. I don't know exactly how much all of you know, but to the best of our knowledge, the end of everything is coming. And truth be told, I am probably the only thing that stands between us and it. However, there are a lot of unknown variables that stand in the way, and even with everything that I can do, victory is not certain. The towers are honestly one of the last things that remain that are a mystery for the most part. We don't really know much about them. What we do know about them is that anyone or anything that gets too close becomes tempered. We know that they're kidnapping beast tribes to fuel summons to force them to summon their gods, such as Ifrit and Garuda. We do know that these summons can potentially be stronger than their normal variants, the ones summoned by just the beast tribes and not under any kind of duress or forced provocation. We don't know the extent of their power, but we do know that at least the Ascian leading them is able to summon primals that don't necessarily have anyone following them, such as Bahamut. I'll be honest with all of you. I don't know if what's coming is... I don't know if it can be stopped. I don't know if I can prevent the end of the world. I don't. And I don't know if there's anyone that can. This information is something we've kept guarded for obvious reasons. But if you are to help us, if both of our parties are to understand and accept and trust the other, this is information that you are required to know. Information that we have no choice but to give you. Because to not do so is simply... it's simply not right. By involving yourself with me and with the Scions, you accept grave risk to your personal life. The
We've already been
Garleans...
doing that. On our own. We've already been doing that.
Maybe so. But the Ascians that the Ascian that is the current threat is not like other Ascians. He is not like your typical story or fairy tale villain. This Ascian wants nothing but the total destruction of everything. And will stop at nothing to get it. The other Ascians, they had reasons. They had goals. They had things they wanted to achieve. But Fandaniel has none of those. He simply wants everything to end. For that reason, he is... You're okay, Star. But she says, for this reason, he is the most dangerous Ascian we've faced. I just want to make sure that all of you are aware of the risks and the consequences that might arise if we fail. If you are still willing, we would have any information. We would willingly have any. Try that sentence again. If, after all this, you are still willing, we would have any information that you have.
Seems like in the face of all of this, not much else matters. I'm in. I don't know about anybody else.
I think.
I am. I think I'm gonna go. My head's killing me. I need to go lay down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Take it easy, man.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Yeah.
Take it easy.
Okay. You guys have a good night.
Yeah.
Alright, good night.
Bye.
Right.
Take it easy, man. Alright. So, with that, she nods and says, well then, any information you have or any other questions you have, please feel free to ask them.
What have we given them?
Not much.
Can I get a basic overview? Because, like I said, I
You've-
wasn't here.
All you guys have done is just ask questions. You haven't actually told them anything. And then Fumi essentially just went over a story recap, essentially, that Tower's bad, we don't know if we can stop it, if you're still in it, cool.
Cool.
Guardian's bad, they want to kill me, they'll probably want to kill you if you associate with me. Yeah.
Well, we're already deeply associated, darling.
Typical plot stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Have you come across an Ascian with a half-diamond shaped mask?
No. Truth be told, Fandaniel's the first one that I've come across that is a what we considered a sundered Ascian.
What makes him sundered?
He is. It's a part of the first calamity, the first big separation of the Asians. The Asians at one point were faced with a similar calamity as what we face, although it was more their star than an empire. Their star was dying, and to save it, they performed the very first summoning to ever be done. By sacrificing half of their entire population, they created the very first primal, Zodiark. Zodiark, by their whims and by their wishes, had the power to rewrite reality itself. They, in their desperation, sought to rewrite the laws of reality to save their star. And they succeeded. However, of the remainder, there were those that thought Zodiark was simply too powerful and could not be left unchained or left alone. And so, half of the population, of the remaining population, anyways, became divided. Half of it on the side of Zodiark, and half of it against. The half that was against did not want to see Zodiark free, and to run wild and to do as he wished. As a result, half of them, so a quarter of the entire population, sacrificed itself to summon the second primal, Hydaelyn, to chain and shackle Zodiark. From there, and with each of those massive calamities, and each calamity that followed, a bit of reality was split into different shards. We are one such shard. The source, if you will. The Asians have made it their goal as undying creatures, those that were unsundered, that is, those that in each of these calamities remained whole. Those that remained unsundered made it their goal to restore the Asian race by going to each of these shards and corrupting it, overflowing it with one type of ether or another. If they succeed, if they turn all the shards as they have attempted to do, they will, everyone will cease to exist. You, me, everyone we know and love. And in exchange, they will perform a summoning that restores their entire race. It restores the universe to what it was before Zodiark was summoned.
To what it was before.
However, they for all their schemes and all their misdeeds to us, to them, truthfully, I can understand. I can understand their reasonings and their motives. However, for the Sundered, is a far different story. From what we can tell, Fandaniel, he sees his existence as torture. He wants it all to end, but it is almost unreasonably difficult to kill an Ascian. And white Orosite is extremely difficult to come by. Fandaniel as well has the backing of Xenos, the current head of the Garlean Empire. And he, unfortunately, wants the same as Fandaniel. While it might not be strictly obvious to those outside of Garlemald, the previous Emperor was at least somewhat different in that he wanted an eventual peace. Xenos, however, just wants destruction. These two combined, working together, make for very unpredictable and dangerous individuals. The Unsundered Ascians, to put it bluntly, are quite possibly the worst enemy we've ever encountered.
We've encountered this diamond-masked Ascian. He wouldn't give us a name.
And his only purpose seems to be to, as he puts it, reset everything. However, he claims that his version of the reset is different from others of his kind. It's quite annoying. He's very cryptic.
Either way, it doesn't sound anywhere in our favor.
He's also probably watching right now.
Probably.
That is very strange indeed. I've never encountered an Ascian like that before, but he can't. I shouldn't say that.
Say what?
Well, I was gonna say that he can't possibly be that dangerous, but
Yeah.
if the Guardians can bring back dead Ascians, we have no idea what this one is capable of.
He can
Although,
show you memories.
He can show memories?
He brought us to enforce to fight several primals.
Mhm.
That's... Well, I can't say that is unheard of. There were other Ascians that were able to do such a thing. Well, not... I don't necessarily think I would call them memories, though. Are you sure they were memories?
His words exactly were memories.
And what we saw were things we've done already.
And he also seemed to heavily imply that gaining these memories, the ability to access them, I mean, from the people that have them, grants him a greater level of power. His scheme seems to rely on us making the correct memories to enact his plan.
That's very strange.
I mean, every Ascian is strange. This one just seems a bit...
Well, I've had Ascians before that have shown me things from the past. But, again, I would not necessarily call them memories. More like visions of the past. And he claims to gain power from them.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily claims, but heavily implies that he does.
He likes to be very, very, very vague.
Yes, it's annoying.
Most of them do. This is very strange. That is... I cannot necessarily say that I am surprised. Fandaniel has shown to be very discomfortingly tricksy. To have two working at the same time. I must admit, I've not encountered two Ascians at the same time, let alone that were, from how you describe it, working against each other. It's very confusing.
Bad. Very bad.
These memories that you saw, can you describe them to me?
I mean, yeah, Star will go over the basics of them.
Okay.
Sorry, there's a lot.
No, you're fine. You're fine. It's a lot of information, granted.
It's one of those moments where your character
fade to
starts
black.
making hand gestures and it's
Yeah, this
done
fade to
with.
black. Yeah, it just fades to black.
Yeah. Honestly, just Soup Delver is just telling everything related to the Ascian they've seen.
Yeah, so she kind of nods to all of it and goes, well, that is quite the adventure. It's still very strange. Well, we'll have to look into that at the very least. But how many times have you encountered him? You said only once, correct?
Yes.
That they know of.
Seems like he's possibly been lurking and pulling strings behind the scenes.
Perhaps. It's just also... I've never encountered two Ascians working against each other at the same time. Obviously, Fandaniel is not exactly working with the typical plan, but admittedly, I've never personally encountered two Ascians before. And Stola pipes up at this point and says, could it perhaps be someone pretending to be an Ascian instead. May have only encountered one at a time before, but we've certainly made no small amount of enemies, and the Garleans already know about the Ascians. And we already know at least a few individuals personally that also know about the Ascians. So he just kind of nods and says, yeah, that is true. But I don't know who would... Sorry?
How would someone go about impersonating an Ascian? Don't they have magics that surpass those of normal mortals?
Typically, yes. It's Fumi speaking. Says, typically, yes. From what we've observed, they have abilities and powers that most would scarcely dream of even being possible. Impersonating an Ascian would be very difficult, but the difficulty lies in the fact that that the Garleans have an Ascian working with them at this point, rather than against them. Their previous experiments to replicate the Echo were largely unsuccessful, and primarily due to them not really being able to replicate it. But with them Y'shtola speaks up and says, well, even with them having that, though, Xenos doesn't exactly strike me as the kind to care about scientific innovation, given that he's already shut down and stopped funding most of them. Alphano says, that is quite true, but even still, we do have some...
If he's shut down funding such things, why would they... Sarah will pause and just kind of like tap her cheek in thought.
Why
Why
would they
in the
what?
world would they need a gold chocobo?
All three of them immediately stop, turn to you, and at the exact same time go, a what?
Star will slowly look at Fumi like,
Sorry, not for me. The other two.
well, I was thinking fucking
Fumi was there. Fumi knows about
Totoro popping up from behind the counter like, excuse me?
it. Yeah.
She is
Admittedly,
still
yeah, she would be the third one. Just kind of a little bit late, just scrambling up. What?
Hey, what now?
Fumi didn't tell you. Oh, okay, wonderful.
I had a lot on my mind, she says, sort of like doing a little bit of like side to side eye motion. And still looks to her and then to you.
Yeah, a gold chocobo.
You know, kind of like yellow, but better.
Right. Shaw says. Daphne pipes up and says, a gold chocobo. What? I'm sorry. You say that they won? One of what?
They commission. Well, I guess. She'll rub her forehead a little. Long story short is while La Breadsticks was impersonating the Seed Seer, he was commissioning my father to breed a gold chocobo.
He just kind of nods slowly and goes, huh. seems very...
And this was going on for a really long time, apparently.
Even if... Alpha now, speaking now. He says, even if we were to assume that somehow they were doing that, how long exactly do you know?
Quinn had mentioned that she'd commissioned it a long, long while back, right? How long did he say?
A couple 100 years. At least 100.
100 years?
He sort of thinks for a moment, goes, that would have been quite a while. That would have been several generations ago. That would have been at least 2, maybe 3 emperors ago?
She just shrugs.
What could they use a gold chocobo for?
They must have been planning something if they were the true culprits, but what could it have been?
That's what I'd like to know.
Well, regardless, whoever it was that commissioned it is long since dead. And given the current state of Garlemald, I doubt that Xenos has any intentions of following through with whatever plans those were.
Except the individual calling themselves La Habrea that we encountered
That
tried
we even trapped and
taking...
gave to Fumi.
He's still
Yes.
trapped, right?
Second daughter?
He's still trapped, right? Looks to Fumi.
Yes, she says. He is. But
I didn't finish what I was saying, guys.
Oh,
Thanks for
sorry.
interrupting me.
Sorry about that. Go ahead.
The individual that was calling themselves La Habrea that we gave to you still tried to claim the gold chocobo. So that plan might not be as dead as you think.
You know, the very
Whatever.
same one we gave to the seeds here to take care of.
But it still wouldn't make sense. Miss Fumi speaking. Alphino speaks up, sort of putting one hand up to his chin and sort of cupping it for a moment and goes, but we know Xenos isn't the type to care about scientific innovation. He's one about war and destruction. Anything to do with researching or trying to make a gold chocobo is just not his style. He simply would not care about it.
Are you sure about that? Are you sure that there is not more
Who-
to him?
Positive.
I agree with that statement. Then
We've-
who within that circle would want a gold chocobo?
I
They
don't
look really
think,
cool.
I don't think it is the Garleans that want it.
Then Redhead himself wanted it.
I don't know, but the Xenos is simply, quite frankly, he's a very simple man. All things considered. I mean, his plans are not overtly complex, and his tactics are brutish, to say the least. unlike his predecessors, he's not one to trifle with peace talks or with flights of fancy. He is one of destruction. He is unequivocally the definition of a demon, of a monster. To that end, I do not believe that it was Xenos that wanted to continue this plan. Although perhaps it might have been the Guardians that initially set it into action, or into motion. Whoever it is that wants to see this plan through to the end knows how to manipulate even the wisest of our leaders, as well as performing magic of extraordinary feats.
God,
Truly
I
a
just hate
conundrum.
that I helped them.
With that, real quick, we're gonna take a break because I really have to pee.
Woo! Good break time.
Look,
Getting
Game.
back into this campaign.
Yeah.
So,
Here's the line you drop bait.
the DM dies. Entire game over. You win. Good job. So, Michelle just looks at all of you and says, "So, with all of the unpleasantries out of the way, is there any, well, I should say, what questions do you have?"
Have you heard anything about the Garleans targeting, well, not just himself?
Anyone targeting you or your order?
Me.
Fumi speaks up. She says, "I actually did quite a bit of digging into this. But a guilt and I go back a long way. And when I heard about what was done, well, Michelle speaks up and says, it was difficult to stop her from marching to Garlemald itself. Let's just leave it at that." Fumi just kind of chuckles and goes, "The information that I was able to find seems to detail something specific with your mentor. His name escapes me, the DM. I don't remember what you named your mentor.
Tatawai Tutuwai.
That is what Fumi says. It seems to have been doing a lot of research into Garlemald itself, and a lot of research into its foundings. Shortly after the fake assassination of you, he went searching for you in particular. My sources seem to think that he knew it was a fake from the beginning, and he also never actually saw the body. However, he seemed to have an intuition or an instinct that you were still alive, according to Wildergelt. His exact words were, and I might be paraphrasing a little bit here, but these were effectively what he said. That's bullshit. He wouldn't die to some punk ass shit like that. Those are the words that Wildergelt used, not mine. But shortly thereafter, he left in search for you. He spoke to Samai, your mother, shortly before attempting to visit your father, who was currently in captivity to the resistance. From what I understand, he spoke to your father very short time before attempting to find your mother, and that is the first time I found all of you at that fortress. After that, I continued my search for your mentor, who was the reason I was there in the first place. Unfortunately, I was not able to find him at the time. My search led me to Othard, actually. But it seems your mentor was, unfortunately, just slightly faster than I was. Levels. She says, but following his trail led me back here, and unfortunately, his trail leads straight to Garlemald. I am unfortunately incapable of following past that due to aforementioned issues.
Thank you. He does get far on those tiny legs.
Surprisingly, I was honestly expecting to catch him before he got there, but it seems I followed his trail to Gridania and then over to Thanalan, where he seemed to catch on board an airship directly to Garlemald. I do not know who was the captain of that ship or any other information, unfortunately. As you can imagine, a ship headed to Garlemald from Ul'dah is not exactly one that's legal. So tracking it is difficult.
Oh, at least it's a help, but they'll give us sort of pause a moment. Then he goes, "I don't think I tried this before." And he brings his hand up to his shell.
Mm-hmm.
Coming out to tuck away.
How long do you wait?
Valkyrie will wait as long as he needs to.
Okay.
Okay. About 30 seconds pass. Does anyone want to do anything in that time?
I wanted to introduce them more to Chizumi and kind of her situation, our situation.
Okay. As you sort of gesture towards Chisume, she, who for the most part was just kind of like very close to your side and like gripping your waist. She kind of looked
I
at
was
everyone.
holding her.
But or right, that's right. You were holding her. And so her arms were actually like kind of like wrapped around your neck. Not like too much, but definitely in like a very nervous but extremely exhausted state.
Yeah.
But as you bring more attention to her, you can feel her entire body kind of like try and like shrink up a little bit into your arms. But Tataru, who at this point has come back out from around the counter, because this conversation is far more interesting than anything she was doing, is the first to pipe up and says, "She's adorable."
Isn't she?
She like walks up to you, but stays about 10 feet away upon seeing Chisume kind of recoil a little bit, and says, She seems very timid.
She's been through a lot. Our predicaments are not too far off from each other's.
Kinda
Chisumi
nods.
is from the lab my father was using to
Which,
create the golden chocobos.
real quick, speaking of which, how is she dressed? Is she dressed in just her normal attire, or is she robed?
I assume because we were in public, I would have let her be robed.
Okay. Well, there was also that very long staircase as well, where you had the potential to, if you wanted, have her change. Since it would just be like just removing the robe.
Yeah, I think I'll let her stay robed for now, because, like,
Stay robed? Okay.
it's her choice more than mine to be open.
Okay.
I guess.
Fair enough. So, yeah, she would definitely want to stay robed, because she wouldn't know
Yeah.
where she's going or anything. So Tataru just nods and says, well, hi, I'm Tataru. I'm very nice. I won't hurt you, I promise. This is... She kind of looks up at Ishtola and goes, a very wonderful cat, and she will love you. And Ishtola looks down at her and kind of scowls and goes, and my name is Ishtola. But for you, you can just call me Cat Lady.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And Chitsume just kind of giggles a little bit, looking over at her.
It's alright.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Like, looks up at you for a moment for looking at all of them. Goes, okay, if you trust them, I do.
Oh, she's so cute. As I stated before, she's from the lab my father used to create the gold chocobos. The lab I'm from, actually.
Interesting. And just as Ishtola says that, all of you hear this voice come from over near Delgar. One that you recognize immediately, Delgar, one you haven't heard for a very long time. The voice of your mentor. And it goes, Delgar? You're still alive?
Yeah, I am. I really can't really let you have to do this a long time ago.
Oh, this is awkward.
A little. Why are you heading to girl mode?
And just as you say that, you hear what sounds... It sounds like something being snapped. I'll say everyone go ahead and make perception checks.
Visual or
Auditory.
Star's too angry that why would you open link shells in a private conversation area?
So was that yours then, the 15 and the 10 for advantage?
Yeah, because they should have
Okay.
had.
Yeah. Just wanted to make sure. Alright, so yeah, all of you, after a moment, Roxana, you notice it almost, you and Kren notice it almost, or recognize it almost immediately, that it sounds like a bone snapping. And all of you eventually piece this together, right before he says, well, admittedly, I thought it was because you were dead. This makes this situation very awkward.
This is why we gather information first.
And possibly, maybe we shouldn't make calls to private conversation areas.
Delker will just shake his head and just step out of the room.
Right. Let me call you back in like, I don't know, 2-3 hours. Bye.
When I'm not assaulting a Garlean stronghold, I'm guessing, is what he means.
Yeah.
No, never mind then. He just sort of hangs up, massaging the bridge of his nose.
Can we just kind of tilt her head for a moment? Won't ask. So this Asian that you mentioned with this diamond half mask. Whoever he is, he's not with Fandaniel. He is, from what we can tell, he is working against him. I think that's a safe assumption.
Good, if that be the case.
But he seems to require all of you for something. Whatever that something is gives him more power in some way. That's about all we know.
Yep. Sounds about right.
So frustrating.
Quite.
You can say that again.
Ishola pipes up. Her eyes sort of focusing in on you, Idalgar. And sort of cocks his side. Says, "What path do you follow, monk?"
I am of the way of Rauger.
Or folds her arms. Are you sure?
Yes, why do you ask?
Your Aether is not like one who follows the path of Rauger. It leans too heavily.
How do you mean? How's it different? What does it lean towards?
I do not necessarily know how to describe it. I do not know how your path interprets it. She sort of looks towards Fumi. She says, "How would you describe a leaning towards one side or another?" Fumi kind of thinks for a moment. Well, based off of what I've experienced myself, typically when a monk of Rauger is not within the balance, they're leaning either towards the light or the dark side of the chakra. It's it depends on the path the user is following. Stola kind of nods and thinks for a moment, and then looks back towards you, Dogger, and says, "Describe to me how everything has made you felt. Do not hold anything back. What has been your emotional state?"
I have been miserable for a very long time. I was forced to take the life of family, and I've just been dragged around one place to another, trying to help people, or just seeing people that need help, and just finding they're just either against us, incompetent unnecessary business, and I'm sick of everything. I'm sick of seeing people like that. I'm sick of seeing people in another position. I'm tired of looking out for people and not considering anything for myself.
She kind of rubs her chin for a moment. Then Fumi speaks up and says, I see. She kind of looks to your party and says, I will be blunt with all of you. As he is, Dogger is a burden. A monk of Rogger requires balance. Without balance, we cannot hope to contain or control or even use the strength that we are bestowed with. With him as he is holding himself back immensely. Ishtola speaks up and says, I do not know much about monks, but I know you like to meditate a lot. And there is one spot that I like to meditate at. If all of you would be so kind, I would like to show Duggar this spot, and maybe it might do him some good.
Before you go, I've been meaning to actually ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big fan. Actually, I've read much about you. I was coming to a term that doesn't mean born because she has no clue. She was always blind. When my memories begin, I have never been able to actually see. So, reading about your use of Aether to be able to see others was very important to me growing up.
Admittedly, I'm kind of surprised. Not necessarily in a bad way, but your father must have some very deep connections if you were able to find information about my site.
Yeah, he does tell me a lot of things.
Very interesting. What you were saying?
I wanted to ask you about witnessing the change of one's Aether. I've seen something strange come to pass with one of my friends here, where it seems as if their Aether has... How would you describe it? Melded two different kinds together, where most of my companion's Aether seems to be a solid color, theirs fluctuates.
Tilts her head for a moment and then looks out to the rest of the party. And for the first time, you can see a more discerning look to her face, whereas before she was kind of she kind of glanced at everyone and just kind of like, okay, they are who they are, cool, let's go. Now she's like actually intently looking at everyone. And as she does, her brows kind of furrow once more. And she goes, "Oh, I see what you mean." Her eyes drop to Aedwin for a moment before shifting away. She goes, "That is very peculiar, we'll say."
Very.
How exactly did you come upon being able to do this?
Do what?
She's talking about see the Aether. Like, how did
Oh,
you manage to do it?
I guess I took what I read and focused on my own being to. Uh, there's a lot of weird things I've done.
She crosses her arms as she looks you over for a moment.
I've used myself to hear and feel farther radiuses. I've used myself to see their aether. I've used myself to trap things and empty
Make a wisdom save for me.
Ah. Save?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, make it again. It's technically the same save, by the way. God
What?
damn it!
You had advantage.
No. You were forced to roll it again.
Okay.
Because you passed. I was hoping you failed. But you didn't.
I'll choose to fail if you'd like me to.
I mean, you don't know what's happening. You just feel an alien force. An
Okay.
alien magical effect trying to affect you. I assume you would resist.
Trying to temper you.
So,
Yeah, she's like confuzzled.
you're not really sure what it was. It was just like there was something and then it was gone. It was very brief. It was more of like it's more like a there was a net, you smack it, it's gone.
Okay.
Yeah, it was very minor kind of thing.
Yeah, trap things in crystal.
Kind of tilts her head for a moment. And looks to the party for another moment before stepping forward and reaching out her hand. If you wouldn't mind, I would like to check something.
Be my guest?
Take my hand, please.
She will do so.
Okay. As she does, she places her other hand over and she says, "Please don't resist. It would be easier."
Was that you earlier?
Alright. Do you resist?
No, she won't, but she'll be
Okay.
a wee bit annoyed that she didn't answer.
Yeah, she didn't answer. So, you immediately feel your psyche overwhelmed with this second presence. This feeling this experience that you've never had before, where you are suddenly where it's like your mind, your consciousness is suddenly thrust from your body, but you can still see your body, and it's still moving and seemingly acting as though on its own without your guidance. And it's like you're still connected to it, you can still feel it moving, but it doesn't respond to anything you try to do. But as you're thrust away, you feel your mind being probed, and this almost like it's almost like alien fingers sinking into your brain. It's very strange and discomforting feeling. But as it digs deeper, there's a moment of like almost it's almost like it's unexpected acceptance, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Where your entire body just kind of relaxes for a moment before you finally realize what was happening. And just as you realize it, those tendrils or fingers or whatever it was pull away. And after 6 seconds, you come back, you snap back. And you realize at that moment that your memories were being searched by your soul. And her eyes kind of blink and her head shakes for a moment, and she says, "You don't even remember, do you?"
Depends on what you speak of.
No. Well, there's only one thing you don't remember, and we both know what it is.
If you're talking about the bird thing, I know. At least a chunk of it.
She looks over to Fumi, just very confused. She kind of looks over at her like, goes, "This one is not as she appears. She is what they call a gold chocobo. Of a kind." To which pretty much everyone in the building within hearing shot immediately stops. And you'll all actually hear several glasses shatter as several more people kind of like poke their heads around and kind of look out like, what? Tataru just, "Go back to what you were, nothing to see. All of you out. We're closed. Go away. Go. We're out. I said leave." And they all immediately like, okay. They just single file all just begin to leave.
Mama Satoru said leave, so leave.
So it goes, right. I imagine all of you are probably already aware of that. But that is a surprise to me.
Yeah, I don't tend to walk around saying I'm a bird. Kind of confuses people.
But this only raises more questions.
I'll answer what I can.
You cannot. I have seen things you simply do not even remember happening. Nothing you say could give me answers that I do not already have.
That is fair.
Your party is the strangest I have ever seen. And I mean that as a compliment.
And we'll take it as that, I'm sure.
You are all very uniquely talented in your own ways. However, it is time we depart.
As this has been going on, Delger has just been looking through the bag of hold, searching through the bag of hold, and getting just what he needs in his old backpack, and hands it over to the party.
Alright.
He's just taking basically his magical items and just any sort of survival gear he needs, leaving the rest for them.
Alright.
He'll stop and look at everyone. He'll go to Ablin. I wish he didn't have to leave, but goes, "You've been one of the good ones, and you're far stronger and smarter than what you give yourself credit for. They'll need you more than ever. Good luck in whatever you face with your family." And well, Ablin can respond to that as however he wants whenever he sees a video.
Mm-hmm.
He goes over to Kryn. "You've never been anything but a complete pain in the ass. I truly hope your airship is everything you've ever hoped it to be." He'll go to Rakshana next. Well, actually, sorry. Kryn, do you say anything? I should say that before I continue this.
What was that?
Oh.
What Delger
He was talking.
Just talking to you.
Yeah,
Oh, he was talking fast. I didn't understand him.
You have been nothing but a complete pain in the ass since I met you, but I truly hope the airship is everything you hoped it to be.
I apologize for being a pain in the ass. I never intended to be, but you're going to be missed.
Thank you. You'll go to Rakshana next. You've been a good influence, and thank you for joining us when you did.
Well, when I see an opportunity to help those that need help, I take it. You needed help, and it seems like now everyone needs help. Literally, the entire world. Or it's going to, poof. So, I'm glad I joined when I did too. It's been a pleasure. She'll hold her hand out to Delger.
You too. Thank you. He'll shake her hand.
Get your head on straight, damn it.
I will. Just do what I asked you to do. Back on the airship, and he'll move away from her.
Of course.
He'll crouch next to he's crouching down and just sort of looking at Chisume this next. He'll just open out his arms, offering to hug her.
He just quickly embraces you and just smiles.
Don't let the experiments or anything else shape who you are. You be who you want to be. You're better than anything they try to make you, and I'll miss you so much.
Kind of looks up at you. What do you mean? I'm not going anywhere. Right?
I've got to go away for a little bit and just take care of myself for a little while.
Make a persuasion check. Natural 20. Sorry, child. Daddy's gotta go to the store for a little bit.
Daddy's
I'm
got to go
kidding.
get some cigarettes.
I'm
Going out
kidding.
for a
I'm
gallon of
kidding.
milk.
I'm only teasing you, Dogger. I promise. I love you.
Well, maybe they don't know that yet.
I don't know. But you can see tears in her eyes.
I'll be back.
She kind of, her grip tightens around your waist, and she says, "You promise?"
I promise. You can hold me to that.
Okay. I'm gonna come find you if you don't.
Please do. If it does. If it happens, I look forward to you finding me. You can drag me back if you need to.
Okay. Her grip doesn't loosen, by the way.
Delker will just sort of stand, pick her up, just letting her hug him as long as he can afford her, and just look the star next.
Oh, yeah. She's just clinging to your waist the entire time.
For the entire time I've met you, you've been the only person I've ever felt that despite all of this, I've ever felt trouble is ever worth following. Okay. You know, I felt a lot more than that, but that's not a business to be taken care of anytime soon. I hope you make everything is out being as good as you hope it to be.
Me too. You take care of yourself.
I will. Goodbye, Star.
Goodbye.
He'll go to hug her and pass her Chisune as he does.
She'll allow it. And try to take Chisame.
I'm gonna say one of you make either an athletics or acrobatics check with advantage. Or better yet, actually no, I'll give you both the chance to do the check with advantage, actually. And she'll try to do a contestation at disadvantage, because she is a child. Oh boy, she rolled a 5 and a 6. So, as tightly as she can, she holds on to Delger, but between the both of you, you manage to gently pull her off, and even as she kind of reaches out to him, eventually just kind of leans back into Star and just accepts it. Sad, but knowing she can't really stop it.
They'll just sort of breathe out. Okay, let's get going.
Stolen nods. Looks to all of you. I wish you well for heading out with Dogger.
Yourself.
Good luck with him.
Well, Alphino says, clearing his throat. We can't very well rob you of a party member without at least attempting to give you something back in return, I think. Although, I think he's a bit tied up with Sid at the moment, if I recall correctly. Oh, he is one. I wonder how free he is. Fumi, could you? She goes, I'm on it. Lifts her hand up and she says, Sid, 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 Sid. And as she's about to speak again, you hear this loud what sounds like clanking. And for you, Crane, you recognize it immediately. It's mechanical work in the background of a link shell. You are very astutely aware of the sound of wrenches being thrown from personal experience of wrenches being thrown at you specifically. I'll say is the reason you recognize the sound. But after a moment, you hear a male voice come over. Go. Yes, I'm a little busy right now. Can I help? What's going on? For response, so the that arcanist that we said that we would allow you to use to help you with the Magitech. Well, we sort of need him back. So, and this is said speaking over the link shell. You hear, so the guy that was supposed to help with. All right, yeah, I'll send him back. Oh my god. Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure, no problem. That's where the line goes dead. He just goes, right, hopefully, they are a capable combatant. I can say that much. I don't really feel like trying to describe him would do him justice, so I feel like meeting him personally would be a better first impression, if you will. He'll be here in like half a day, I think. Looks over to Alfano, goes, yeah, half a day sounds about right.
Actually, I can't say he has a very much faster way of getting there, especially if he's been in this room, the room that they're currently in.
I mean, if you want, it's up to you.
Okay. Upon hearing all that, you'll cast teleport.
Okay.
You see appearing through the aether as it dissipates a tall male, about 6'8", short kept, dark auburn hair, bright blue eyes, lightly tanned skin, very slim build, not particularly muscular. He's wearing this dark studded leather armor with this purple cape purple cloak wrapped around his shoulders, and this light fur around the neck. He looks mostly like a hearer until you notice the third eye on the center of his forehead.
Ah! Well, there he is now. Why, quite convenient. His timing is, Alfano says.
Thankfully, I hadn't used too much of my magic today.
Quite. Well. What were you calling yourselves again? Alfano's asking the party.
We weren't actually calling ourselves anything? Why?
Well, I suppose personal introductions are in order instead, then. Astaria, Rakshana, Dogger, Kren, and Adwin. This right here is
Sacrius Ilsifer.
That's a mouthful.
Just call me Sacrius. Oh, and this is Lux, he will say, and you see, bounding up from behind him, a topaz blue-colored tall fox-like creature with a gem set in its forehead.
Carbuncle.
yes, Of the topaz.
I know. I was just trying to describe it.
Yes.
Carbuncle.
They're so cute.
Prepares to kidnap Carbuncle.
Well, I know he is no monk, but he does have a surprising amount of magical aptitude despite being a guardian. And he has shown quite the reluctance to care about guardians, we'll say.
Xenos and the others have made their own bed at this point.
Sorry, I just pulled up the image of the carbuncle. I want one.
Yes, that's what he has. What of the topaz variety? So.
Not to be a pain in the ass here with technicalities, but topaz is yellow, not blue.
Listen, shut up.
No, topaz is yellow,
Listen,
not blue.
Topaz is yellow.
Listen, this is D&D, and it could be whatever color he wants it to be.
Topaz is yellow, not blue.
But yes, you are correct. But that's okay. It is a very minor
is
thing
it
that not
blue
necessarily
or
everyone
topaz?
knows about. So.
Yeah,
If
it's
it
a
is
sapphire
topaz, then-
carbuncle. So then it's a sapphire carbuncle.
It's a question of is it supposed to be topaz dogger or Scarius?
I'm pulling up the sheet just to double check it all for you, make sure I don't give you incorrect information. That's loading.
Yeah, take your time.
Topaz carbuncle, yes.
Okay, so it would be topaz. So it would be a brown carbuncle. Or
Yellow.
brownish. Or like it's like a brownish yellowish, I think.
Yellow.
Fine, we'll say
Things
yellow.
are shiny yellow.
Look
Yeah,
at the fucking art!
Admittedly, it's been a little bit since I've seen a topaz. Here, you know what? We'll just look at topaz carbuncle. Because you won't let me just be like, okay, fine.
Are
But,
bright,
okay.
shiny yellow, my
They're
dude.
bright and shiny.
Yeah.
Anyone who
I
gets that
just-
reference, someone.
I just
But yes,
brought
you
up
are
that
correct.
image. I was about to
Yes.
post it.
Yeah.
That's the mount as well.
Yeah. But okay.
You can get a topaz carbuncle
Yes.
mount. I
Yes.
want.
It's
I
on
want-
sale right
And
now.
then you can wear the
It's on
outfit
sale.
as well on top of
Yes,
it
it's on
while
sale
being
right
a summoner while having a topaz carbuncle summoned. And it is fucking glorious, okay? I'm just saying. Anyways, back to the actual session. No more shilling.
It was this or an emerald, and I had to have the blue variety, and I thought, well, I mixed up the colors in my head.
It says you have to have the blue variety?
Well, no, it was just of the two stat sheets for carbuncles. I chose this one.
Oh.
And I thought it was of the blue color.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, so Avna's like, so hopefully he is temporarily acceptable. I know you've just met, and I know this is kind of crazy, but here's an Arcanist, so take him as a replacement,
Arcanist?
maybe?
Do you believe we can trust with all the sensitive information?
Maybe not all of it, but he knows enough to be effective.
I was in the military in the past. I'm used to need to know information.
Oh, it's not on sale anymore. Never mind.
Mm-hmm. Let us just say he was a very, relatively high-ranking member of the Garlean army before he defected away from them.
You want us to take a defective Arcanist?
He has, as I said, been helping us for some time. He is trustworthy.
Did you just call him defective?
He defected, therefore he's defensive. I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself.
Does snort and smile and try not to smile at that.
Roll a deception check.
Okay.
You're gonna try not to smile. Roll deception. Please fail. Please fail. Yeah.
So,
Roll an insight check, Astoria. With advantage because of Hattie.
Okay, hold on. What am I rolling? Just
Insight.
insight?
Yep. Oh yeah, you totally know. You can see that smirk on his face.
Mm-hmm.
He liked that
Maybe
joke.
Foxtrot was trying to say something.
yeah, so... Would my character know anything about Garleans?
Roll a history check.
That's fair. 24!
That's also fair. All right. So I will say, you know the general information about Garleans. You know that a true Garlean is incapable of casting magic. However, you also are aware that most high-ranking Garleans are the ones that have the third eye.
Oh, is that a little crystal thing?
Yeah.
You remember the little
Yeah.
tiny little ball that Gaius had right
Yeah.
in the center of his forehead? That's the third eye that they have.
Yeah, sorry, I was just
Yeah.
mentally connecting the dots here.
I mean,
Yep.
Sid still has his third eye,
Yeah.
too.
Well, it's an
So
innate
does
thing.
Nero.
Yeah. Well, it's an innate thing. It's not something that
Yeah.
they get rid of necessarily. They just have it. It's a
Yeah.
defining feature. It's what separates a Garlean from a citizen of Garlemald.
So would my character specifically know the
You would have
ranking system
You would have,
of
I would
Garleans?
say, with the 24, I would say you have at the very least a general understanding of like sort of the hierarchy and how the naming structures are done. You wouldn't necessarily know all of the titles or anything, but you know
Yeah.
generally how they're done. So you would understand that the middle one is the title, air quotes.
So, if my information is correct, and I make a habit of making sure it is, between your title and that third eye of yours, you're both a true-blooded and high-ranking Garlean. How are you an Arcanist? I thought Garleans were etherically inert.
He begins pulling at his armor. What's one of the sleeves of armor pulling in his way? You see these long lines of magic tech grafts running along his arm. Goes, I was part of something that helped work around that.
Interesting.
They're basically running down the back of his arm and going up.
You'll have to tell me about that sometime.
With Proclo, if you want to know something, I need something back.
That's fair enough. My next question. You kept the title. Are you expecting to go back at some point?
Well, admittedly, to be honest, I don't know what state the Empire will be in if should I go back, but I do have family there. I'd at least need to keep that long enough to try and check on them. I don't know. I was forced out of the military from the inside forces. I don't. I got to meet the people who I was fighting. I just something better.
I see.
To be fair, I was just planning to call myself Sacrius. My full name. Again, I wasn't my fault. My full name was given.
Anyone else have any questions?
Not for me.
Nah, I was just enjoying watching you make them squirm.
It takes more than that.
Well,
I'm.
oh, go ahead.
I mean, I haven't actually started trying to make you squirm yet. So, more could come if you'd like. She smiles
Roxy
and
gets Halberd in
chuckles.
the side with that.
I look forward to seeing you try.
Well, Alphino begins. I think with that, it's established that he's at least suitable enough replacement for the time being. Which is, whew, I mean, Sid's gonna be angry with us, but we'll deal with him later, somehow. Well, he knows enough to know that the world's in danger, and he needs to help out, and his very life is in danger because of it. So, as I said, he's a effective fighting force. Although he can be a very eccentric at times. Yes, we'll call him eccentric. I think that's a good word for him. Eccentric at times.
I don't love that word description, but okay.
It's a positive eccentric. It's not a bad eccentric. A good eccentric.
What do you want to know that would... Go ahead.
The fact that you feel the need to make that distinction calls into question your meaning entirely.
Well, I mean, truthfully, he is still a Garlean, and Sid and Nero are clear examples of Garleans that are very clearly against Garlemald, but he is admittedly still relatively new blood by comparison, so we are still obviously wary of him. But all
Giving him
evidence points towards him being an asset and him being truly against the Empire. And Fumi speaks up and says, I would not send him with you if I did not think that you would be able to handle anything that might happen because of him. I trust your judgment.
Alright.
And she looks to you, Sicarius, she says, if he does end up being a traitor and an enemy to us, I trust your judgment, whether that is to take him prisoner or otherwise.
I mean, if we really need to knock him out, I have a hell of a right hook. She says as she pretends to crack her knuckles on her Magitech arm.
Make a strength check.
I know she's not actually going to crack the knuckles, but...
I mean, 24 is pretty fucking high.
So the reason
you do
I say
crack a few.
Oh shit!
Not all of them, not very many, but like you crack like 2 or 3.
She'll actually flex the fingers on the arm. They're not broken, right?
No, they're fine.
Just reseated the joints, actually.
They actually move a little bit better now. Strange.
Yeah, you're not the only one that's had a bit of work done. Probably for different reasons, but you know.
Feel free to slap stories if you do want to know. So,
Fair enough.
What was
Yeah.
that?
I don't know.
Was
I
that
coughed.
Kryn?
I didn't get my mic muted
Oh.
in time.
I
Yeah.
thought that was Kryn. I thought that sounded like him. I was like, is that Kryn? Wow.
Normally I mute my mic fast enough, but I didn't get it there this time.
That's okay. Pretty much did.
So, where do we need to go next then?
And by the way, I'll get to Adwin's thing next session because Adwin's not here.
Good call.
So I pinned it so that way I can recall it later. Cough cough continue. Miscellaneous time skip at some point. Well, Fumi says. As far as I can tell, at the moment, it looks you over. Only thought there for a moment. Only one of you would actually be susceptible to a primal's influence. Right, I sort of stop on you, Kryn. Curiously enough, actually. I don't know why it's only you.
Sorry, I'm here.
Hi.
Only me what?
You're the only
What?
one that seems to be still influenceable by primals.
I
So-
have no clue why.
And looks to all of you and says,
I thought Oh no, Rakshana's not anymore. That's right.
she says,
Wait, what?
You've been tempered, so you can't be.
she kind of crosses her
Oh.
arm and as she looks across all of you and says, the last time I met all of you, she points to both Rakshana and Kryn and says, both of you didn't have any kind of glow about you. Would I stop on you, Rakshana? She kind of tilts her head and says, but you.
Me? What about me?
Your Aether, it's... As look around at everyone else before slowly coming back to you and going, you're not tempered. But you don't... Tilts her head to the side. What are you?
As far as I'm aware, I'm a Vina Viera Gunbreaker. I did have a weird dream recently that I didn't yet get a chance to share with everyone.
Eyes narrow. Not that you can really... The only way you know her eyes narrows is from her eyebrows, because she has she still has her eye mask on. She says, dream? What kind of dream?
So, before I continue on, the symbols for the class or for the jobs, are they commonly understood as
Yes.
showing for the job? Okay.
Yes. They are common depictions for the jobs.
So you're aware of the Gunbreaker's job symbol, correct?
She nods.
In this dream, I found myself standing in front of a humongous slab of stone. All that was on it was the symbol for the Gunbreaker. And it spoke to me.
The stone.
Yes. I never said this dream made sense. I just said it
Dreams rarely
existed.
do.
Yes, well, the stone told me that I had been judged. I believe it was 3 times. I'm still not sure what that means. And that I now have my charge, which, again, I have no idea what that means. And then I saw some Rogadin lady, who I'm assuming is the one that I've heard about from stories. Gunhilder.
You watch as very visibly on her, Tataru, and Alphino's face, effectively all of their jaws drop, and they all immediately lock eyes with you, and Fumi goes, "Excuse me?"
I saw a Rogadin woman, who I'm assuming is Gunhilder.
Why? What information do you have that suggests this?
It's not very good evidence, and I need more research. But from what I can understand of this dream, that voice seems to have something to do with gunbreakers in general. Else, why would it appear as the symbol for gunbreakers? Granted, the symbol itself is a made-up thing that's
What did she say to
commonly...
you?
Out of character at this point. I don't remember her saying anything.
She did speak.
Okay.
I'll say go ahead and give me an intelligence check. See if you can
Coolski.
remember.
Natural motherfucking 20.
Whilst I...
Yeah, well, natural motherfucking 20.
Yeah, I've got to pull up your dream info so that way I actually know exactly what she said. 25. Very, very nice.
Yeah.
So she didn't say much, mind you. But what she did say was, "Welcome home. It is good to have one of my blades finally return to me."
So, she will recite it word for word. She said, "Welcome home. It is good to finally have one of my blades return to me." Which, if I'm remembering my Gunbreaker history properly, part of the name's origin, it comes from Gunhilder's blades. Them being the faction which first used the gunblade. Which is why it is, well, one of the reasons why it is called a gunblade in the first place.
Delger, I'll just say this: anyone with a passive perception above 20 hears almost in unison Alphino and Fumi both mutter under their breaths while staring at Rakshana, "It can't be."
What can't be? I have a passive perception of 21.
I know.
Remember.
I know. Fumi just says, as I'm sure you will understand, it is rare for a dream to occur in our type of work that speaks so plainly.
Fair. I feel like I'm missing context, however, or information.
If the dream is to be believed, then your soul crystal, nay, your soul was a part of the first, a part of Gunhilda's blades themselves.
I see. While that is astonishing information, why exactly does that prevent me from being tempered? And why did it remove a tempering that I was already under the effect of?
I don't think it removed it per se. Gunhildur was. It is a name and a title. It is. There is a lot of history behind Gunhildur and her blades. Suffice it to say, Gunhildur's blades are. They were the most powerful history has ever seen. Gunhildur was, for all intents and purposes, with her blades, unstoppable. If your soul truly is one of her blades, there's no telling how powerful you truly are.
Well then, it seems I have a new challenge. Figure that out. And I have a feeling that the upcoming events are just the crucible to help do that.
I sort of look over you for a moment. That gunblade.
It's not currently drawn and it is in her arm. So.
I'm aware. I'm aware.
Okay, so then she'll extend it. This one?
Yes. Where did you get it?
So, question, where's Nia?
Not in the room. She was not granted access.
So, to make a long and confusing story less long and still equally as confusing, we got here by airship. On the way, we were assaulted by 2 ships full of sky pirates, who happened to be led by my my mentor, Nia, the Makote woman that was traveling with us and not allowed access. When she attacked us, she had 2 things that I have never seen her possess before. This gunblade, And she'll take out the shard of the mask. She was wearing a mask covering her full face, of which this is part.
So I mean, just kind of tilts her head and reaches out for the shard.
Rox will hand it to her. The mask was magically secured to her face, and when the magic of the mask was dispelled, it scarred her face extremely deeply. Luckily, we had Star, who is quite a capable healer, and undid that scarring.
Let's see.
I don't know the origin of the mask or who made it, but
Have you had one of your spellcasters identify this yet? It is still magical.
I have not as of yet. There's
Has it-
been a lot going on.
She nods and goes, understandable. She looks towards you, Star. Would you mind?
Oh, yes, of course. Then she will definitely cast Identify.
Alright.
And whatever she learns will definitely be relayed out loud to everyone.
So, casting Identify, you learn that there is an extremely powerful level 9 enchantment attached to this mask. I believe it's Dominate Monster? I believe this is a 9th level spell.
Oh, jeez.
Let me make sure that's correct.
Yeah,
Dominate
Dominate.
Monster?
8th level, sorry. It's 8th level. However, it was cast as a 9th level effect on the mask. Or that's the level of
Yeesh.
effect the mask produces. It requires attunement. However, once attuned, can never be removed until death or with a level 9 or powerful dispel magic. Or obviously rolling high enough on a dispel magic check. Specifically targeting the effect, which will not remove the effect from the mask, it will merely remove the attunement to the mask, nothing more. Which is why the shard is still contains the effect. Additionally, while attuned to it, you are subjected to a level 9 Dominate Monster to the caster. Hang on. I just thought of something with Identify. I have to see if it actually reveals this. Hang on. Okay, I'm gonna leave this up to you guys to decide real quick in the moment. If the magic item puts you under the control of someone else, do you know do you know the name of that person? Like their actual name?
You would have to, I would presume. I mean, how else would you know to listen to them? I could be wrong. That's just my opinion.
I
fair argument.
agree with that reasoning.
It's like how the Fae don't have control over you unless they know your real name.
That's true.
Names
Okay,
have
fair enough.
power.
I did not. I really did not actually think about that. It puts you under the control of an entity known as Chaos.
That's not ominous at all.
Permanently while you are attuned.
Well, that's in no way ominous.
I have a question,
Yeah.
and this can be in character. So if she was attuned to it, did she willingly put it on?
Fumi shakes her head and says, "Not necessarily. Attuning to an item only requires an hour, so any magical effect that might have controlled her or compelled her to put it on that would last for at least that time would likely work to force her to attune to it.
She was manually dominated, then forced to wear the mask to attune to it.
Potentially. If
That seems-
whoever had her put this mask on was obviously a powerful sorcerer by their own rights. And she kind of looks to you, Rox, and says, by all accounts, whoever did it was targeting you.
Well, they're going to find that they're going to get more than they bargained for. Because you go after the people I care about to get to me. Don't do it.
You people are so interesting already.
Glad to be entertaining, but now I need to know where this individual is. What this individual is.
Could it perhaps be our mystery Asian?
Oh, if that is the case, I am going to... I need to find a way to permanently kill an Asian without white aura sight.
Could I roll a history check on that name, Chaos?
Yeah, go for it. 17. You think about it, and you've been told a little bit about the Asians, and you have been told about some of their real names. And you yourself are a relatively intelligent individual. So you think about it, their names for Asians, anyways, their true names, anyways, seem to denote some level of power. I'm trying to think of some of the ones other than Emmett Silk that we've been told. And I don't remember. That's not it. I'm struggling to remember what La Habreos was. I don't remember. But you've been told at least a few of the real names for the Asians. Enough to be sort of filled in and up to date for the most part. And based off of that information, hearing the name Chaos, and hearing what the party has gone through so far, with the assumption that it is this new Asian, Chaos could, if this new entity is one and the same with this Chaos individual, this could either mean, based off of what the party has also told you, I will say, this could either mean that the new individual wants to basically make everything into a primordial soup and turn everything, basically, scientifically speaking, back into just atoms and particles, returning everything to the very start of everything, of all creation. Alternatively, given that it is an Asian, it could simply be a restart back to the start of the Asian of the Ascians themselves when the Ascians first began. That's what you can get with the 17 based off of the information that you have been given thus far.
That name, Chaos, that doesn't match any of the true names of Ascians, at least that I'm familiar with. It may be your new friend, air quotes, as he says that. It's the title. It could be something like he wants to bring it back to the very beginning of just primal energy, aether, all that soup of the universe. Then, or just, or just, well, or just attempting to restart it back to the beginning of the Empire.
In either case, that is not something that we can allow to happen lying down.
Real quick, also, I will say, for all of you, including Sicarius, one thing you have noticed is that all Ascians, Zagreus included, their powers and their unique abilities seem to be based off of their unique quote-unquote title, so to speak. So like Zagreus, for example, being the god of rebirth and the god of hunting, for example. Continue.
We cannot allow this to happen without at least attempting to stop whoever this is. And hearing that I have apparently more power than I know, that's all the more an urgent thing to uncover it so as to use it. And they've made it personal. But I believe you had a question about the gunblade as well. In fact, I have questions of my own. Namely, do you recognize it? Is this...
Yes.
What can you tell me about it?
The gunblade you now carry, that your soul is now affixed to, is the very gunblade used by Gunhilder's blade. The very first. Which means, if all information is correct, you, Rakshana, the one true owner of that gunblade. Its very first owner.
Perhaps that... Wait a minute. Could an item of this persuasion feel off to someone who wasn't meant to wield it?
If it desperately wants to get to its owner, yes. Especially if its owner is right there, waiting for it. Who did you claim it from?
My mentor. When she attacked our ship with the pirates, she was carrying it into battle. The blade itself has, well, done quite a bit of damage to me. But after she woke and came and spoke with me last night, she wouldn't take it back. She said it felt wrong. It didn't feel like a weapon she was meant to wield. So
I have
she left
had
it.
I've had weapons in the past that have done that. They were very old, and admittedly, I found relics that have improved upon them, and found ones that were more powerful, of course. But in the hands of those who are not the true owners, they will never feel truly satisfied. The weapon itself, it yearns, especially yours and yours of its ilk. It yearns to be with its one true owner. The original, the first, the one it was created for. I know, I'm about to end. I'm sorry, I promise. And she just places one hand on you. Okay, Star. I love you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye-bye. Good night. She places one hand on you, Magnus, or Rakshana, and she says, if this is true, if you have truly bonded with it, and if you are truly Gunhilder's blade, reborn, then the blade has found its home. And that's where I'm going to end tonight. Because it is late, and people have to get up in the morning.
Yeah, that sounds good. Babe, did you just say you love Star?
No, wait, what?
Sorry, just as we were saying goodbye, it sounded like something.
Oh, it was like a friend talk shit, dude. My guy.
Okay.
It's okay. I've also been drinking, so
That's fair.
yeah, like,
Okay.
you know,
Haven't
friends.
been.
I love all of you. Like, I love all of you guys. You're all great.
Okay.
So
That's all I had to hear.
yeah, I love all of you, my guy. Don't worry, I love you too. Don't worry, don't be jealous, Dogger. I love you too. I love you just as much. Don't worry. Speaking of Dogger, I'm gonna make you second because first off is Rakshana. Hi. Hi. I'll take that as a good thing? Question mark.
I see. I'm.
Do you
I'm not
see now why it was so difficult to get you implemented into the story?
Mm-hmm. I'm.
I told you I wasn't neglecting you. I promise. I've got amazing things planned for everyone.
I feel like this is the very tip of a very large iceberg.
My guy, if we're comparing this to an iceberg, you're nowhere near even just getting to what it would be classified as the quote-unquote tip of the underside of the iceberg. Like the largest part of the iceberg, the part that's under the water. Yeah, no, you're nowhere even near like the tip. You're like just now cresting, like getting to a few atoms of it.
Well, shit, dude.
Like you're only like just starting to be like, oh, okay, wow.
I am curious and excited because the soul of the first of Gunhilder's blades. That's gotta be something significant. I don't know what, and I want to.
Well, here, how about here, I'll just give you this link. You can go to it, and you can read all this information and realize just how significant Gunhilder and her blades are.
As far as what I liked, yes. As far as what I didn't, the only thing I can think of is that Nia was denied entrance. That's about it. But you know, okay.
Mhm.
What I'm looking forward to, yes.
Fair. All right.
Because there is a lot. There's
Man.
probably more than. Well, no, it seems like there is more than what I could even start to grasp at straws for at the moment. So, that just seems like the easiest answer to give.
Fair. All right. Wonderful.
So that's what Gunhilder looks like. I have
Mhm.
expected her to have blue skin for some reason.
No, she did. She does. I even described her as
So
having blue
that's
skin.
okay.
I described that exact image. That was what you saw.
That's not blue skin, my guy.
That is.
That's slightly blue tinted skin, not blue.
It's blue enough. Okay, listen, the actual skin tint, the skin itself is actually blue. Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Fair
It's not
enough.
just like tinted, it is actually blue. But with that, as I promised, Delger, you are second. Hello, my friend.
Hey. It's just I have sort of mixed feelings about this session, but it's that's all I can really say right now.
Alright, fair enough. Fair enough. Alright, moving on. We're going to save Kryn for last because he is very obviously going to be the best. So we'll go to me. I loved all of the trickery I got to play on you guys, especially Rakshana. It was great. I loved it. I loved it all. There's so much more as well with Rakshana. And you're just scraping there. Just scraping it. Just getting right up close to it. Almost there. We'll see where you go though. What I disliked, how short the session was, and the fact that unfortunately Adwin had to dip out early because of headache issues. But aside from that, I look forward to next session. I look forward to everyone, and you're all gonna die. Hopefully soon. Maybe it'll be the Diamond Mask Man. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I've learned my lesson with.
But last but certainly not least, Kryn. Hello. Hi.
Hello. Things that I liked. First of all, the story progressed very well today. I enjoy getting all this new information, and our newest companion joining with us. That was it's going to be fun. Things I didn't like. So there's two. One is Josh. When you get excited, it doesn't matter whether you talk too fast sometimes.
That's fair.
So I apologize if I asked you to repeat yourself. It's just you get going and it's like, what did he say? Also, something I didn't. I'm gonna miss Delger. He's been a great part of the group, and he's been one of our main front lines since the beginning. Going to be a great loss, I think. He's going to be missed. Things I am looking forward to. guy in a diamond mask. I am not letting him slip through my fingers. He even shows his face. I'm shooting first. He comes in and starts talking. It's boom, boom.
No more Warrior of Light syndrome. No more hero syndrome. Fuck your monologue. I'm shooting you in the face.
I'm tired of being pushed around by these guys. They're
I'm all for
really getting to me.
Hey,
And they want to come in and they want to talk about how evil they're going to be. And it's like, we are going to make you dance in the palm of our hand, and you're going to do what we say because we are the evil monster in charge. I'm tired. Boom, boom.
Hey, I'm here for it, man.
And it might piss other people off because they may want to talk to him. I don't know. But
hey, there's nothing saying you can't try to talk to him during mid-combat.
true.
You know, not everyone's going to respond, and like most people, when you're sitting there attacking them, won't. But this is an unknown Asian, of all things. Who knows?
I'm really getting tired of these Asians trying to make us do whatever they want from the backgrounds and just appear in front of us just to brag that we've been dancing in the palm of their hand. So,
Fantastic.
and that's it for me.
Fantastic. Well, from the sounds of it, everyone seemed to at least have fun, even if some people had to leave early due to falling asleep or whatever. Of course, we all have lives, and that's fine. Perfectly fine. Perfectly acceptable. I'm actually getting... I should probably sleep myself, but I'm not going to because I'm irresponsible.
Don't forget to move Oda and Delgar up to the Hall of Heroes.
Oh yes, of course, of course.
And let us see the sheet that is.
Yes, for Sicarius. I will do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're actually, well, you're gonna see a couple actually.
Yeah, and so, well, no, it's just going to be Sicarius. They don't get to see pet character sheets because those are specific to the character themselves. So, but with that, we're going to go ahead and get going and stopping the recording.